Hey there guys, welcome back once again to the channel. I'm getting ready to build the production machine you've been waiting for a while now, and I'm getting ready to build it. It is just about ready. Got all the main pieces right here. Got my X370 motherboard, got my R9 280X graphics card, 16 gigs of RAM, gonna put an NVMe boot drive in it. Now I need something to put it in. What can I put it in? Oh wait, maybe that's it now. Okay, not quite sure what was going on up there. Whoa! Hang on here. How'd this get here? Okay guys, I have to admit, I knew this was coming. Of course I knew it was coming. I ordered this sucker off a Newegg because, strangely enough, Amazon never seems to carry this particular version in stock. I'm not quite sure why. But I found a Newegg. It is available there. I picked it on the US site, so if you're watching this from overseas, it may or may not be available on your version. But definitely do check it out because I found it on the US site. So why this case? Why this particular version of the case? Well, here's the thing. When I did my first recent build, and this was 3 years ago, I did an AMD A10 6800K system in a Define R5. This is a Define R6. Now, keep in mind, the R5 is still an awesome case. I mean, it is so easy to build and it is insane. They make these cases well, so I give them a lot of credit for all the workmanship that they put into it. So, when I heard that the R6 was coming out, I was excited. Now, granted, I'm not one of those big YouTubers that get sent review samples and has a whole lot of money, so I kind of had to wait until I had a real reason to buy another case because, I mean, yeah, I was buying other cases in the meantime, but those were cheap used cases under 50 bucks. And granted, they were interesting. But for this one, I wanted to do something special. I wanted to do something, you know, nice. I wanted to do something that was new. So that's why I went with this one. So you can get this in black all over the place. But the white one just kind of seems to be the rarefied air for some weird reason. Can't quite figure out why, but be that as it may, it's here. And I'm going to show you what it looks like. We're going to unbox this sucker together. And it is a big box. I'm sure the case isn't as big as this box. I mean, yeah. Holy cow. I mean, look how thick this is. I mean, THICC, thick. But yeah, this is a very thick case. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut the sucker open. I had to move the camera back because this thing barely fits in the frame. Holy cow, this thing is huge. All right, enough mabbling. Let's get in on this. Okay, so the best thing to do in this kind of case is just to kind of turn it over. Let's see. Nothing on the sides. Okay. Woofda. Packed well with styrofoam, I'll definitely give them that. Holy cow. Ah, user guide, awesome. Okay. Comes in a nice cloth type of wrapping. To be sure. Ready for this? Oh, yeah. Wow, 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 wow. Holy cow. I knew this was going to be a nice case, but wow, this is like really nice. Nice thick user guide though. Okay. So it looks like, yep, it's got the film on the side, so that's all good. Okay, so if you watched a number of other tech YouTubers, you've already seen a lot of what this case does. But I wanted to show you what this case looks like from my own perspective. Okay, so what do we got? So we have lots of space inside. This is one of the features I want to check out in the beginning. Oh, that's cool. That just pops right out. Look at that. You just slide it in and it just pops back down. There's one interesting thing about this Moduvent cover, and I've heard a lot of other reviewers talk about this. It's got the nice solid top on it, but then it's got the air vents inside, and you're like, how the heck do you get these things out? Well, as it comes to find out, there actually is a really easy way of getting these out. So what you do is you look for the side that has the 3 notches on it, like here. And then what you do is you grab one of the corners and you just pull up. So that's one easy way. So what you do is you put the grills up like this, and then you just slip it into the slots like you normally would. And you just snap it down. Boom. Instant air ventilation. So you can remove this. It's not as big of a pain in the butt as I thought it was going to be. Once you figure out the way of getting this off, it's really super easy, and you can get it, get it off and on. You can snap it back down. You snap it back down into this top panel, which, as you can see, does have the sound deadening material, although it's not quite as thick on the top, I don't think, as it is on the back. I think it's a little bit thicker on the back, but it's still got some sound dampening there. So if you want to have airflow out the top, that's how you do it. So let's take these off here. Thankfully, they're not on really super tight. These are not captive, by the way. Okay, so you have your tempered glass side panel. It comes off really easy. Now, the nice thing about this case is that you do have pre-installed, you have 2 140mm fans up at the top, and you also have a third 140mm fan at the back, so that way you get good airflow all the way through the case. Now, looking around towards the back here, you got the 7 PCI expansion slots, and then you have 2 vertical GPU slots. Now, the mounting system that comes, that is meant for the Define R6, does not come included. You have to get that separately. But my only point of contention, And this is not a gripe against Fractal. This is something I've had a bit of an issue with for a while now. When case manufacturers put in a vertical GPU mount, they always put it so close to the side panel that unless you have like a blower style card or a water cooled card, it's too close. So I don't see why they even bother, truth be told. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do about that. Now, the other nice thing is that back here, you've got where you put your power supply in. There's 2 thumb screws back here. And what you do is you take these 2 thumb screws off and you mount them to your power supply, and then you just slide it in, which is really nice and convenient. So that's really cool. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take the back off. Okay, so this one pops off the same way as the front. And it's got the sound dampening foam on the back. So that's cool. So now I'm going to spin this around and show you what's on the back side here. Now here you have got a couple of trays for mounting SSDs or hard drives. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but there's space for more. Now, call me crazy or call me confused, but if you're going to have a case that you can fill all the way up with hard drives or SSDs, why would you not include those? Maybe and this is just okay. Now this is kind of weird. This top panel doesn't quite sit all the way. Maybe I just didn't have a seater right. But anyway, minor issue. So I like the fact that you can fill your case up with hard drives if you have the panel pushed all the way forward. But why would you not include the rest of the trays? Just a minor question. Now here you do have dedicated sleds for 2 SSDs. And what's cool about these is that these can be taken off from here and they can actually be mounted on the floor, on the power supply shroud up front if you want to show them off. So say like if you have some of that new, the ADATA SSDs, I believe it is, that have the really fancy RGB effects on them. Absolutely, you can show those off on the front of your case. I think it look great. So if you have just regular SSDs or you want to hide them away, yeah, you can just put them right there. Now there is a fan smart hub right here that you can plug your fans into, and that's really good for like if you have like a bunch of case fans. I am going to be using more case fans in this. I'm planning on putting a couple white LED fans up in the top, so that way I can have some airflow. And this is going to be a totally air-cooled system. This is not going to be water-cooled at all. So, and then what they do is they include the accessories box down here in the tray. So, and it tells you exactly how many of what's in there. One of the things I want to look at is I want to see how much clearance there is between the back and the back of the case. So it looks like we have about, I want to say about 3/4, a little bit more clearance as far as being able to route cables along the back side. So you've got almost an inch of Z depth from the narrowest part. And that's pretty generous, so I give them massive props for that. Now up on top here, we do have our headphone and mic jacks. We've got our reset switch that's recessed, so that way you're not going to push it accidentally. Got your nice tactile power button. And you have 2 USB 3.0 and 2 USB 2.0 ports on the top. Now there is a separate panel that you can get that has the Type-C connector. It does cost extra, So if you care about that kind of thing, that is an option. You basically just take this panel out, and then you put in the other panel that has a Type-C connector. Doesn't look like it has any USB 2.0 ports on it though, so you are going to lose that. But at least you'll have your Type-C port on the front in case you want to be able to hook stuff up to it. This fits well for my system. I know they recently, not that long ago, finally released the vertical GPU mounting kit. But again, with this being so close to the front, I don't know if it's really worth it. Now color me crazy again here, but if you have an all-white case, why is this black? Okay, so what's nice about this is that this swings open. So what you have is you have space for an optical drive up here, which is nice. I still have one. I still use one, so yay. Plus you've got the grill for the fans up in the front. And it just closes just like that. Now the nice thing about this is that just like on the Define R5, if you want, you can take the screws from this side, put them on this side, and then the door swings open this way. So you can do it either way. So that's cool. Now the other nice thing about this case is that with this front panel here, you can take this, you can take the drive cages, you can take the drive sleds out of the back, and you can move this backwards. So that way what you've got is you've got more airflow. So if you're wanting to do like some extended stuff that goes over here, maybe do some water cooling stuff, then yeah, you can do that. I plan on leaving it in this configuration because for me, it's more about the hard drive space than anything else. So with this being up front, it makes it nice and clean and it works really well. Now what you have here is you've got a nice big rubber grommet here on the floor, and then you've got two more on the sides here. And then you've got the standoffs that are, looks like they're pre-installed for an ATX motherboard. So that's really cool. That is a really nice thing. So that way when I mount my motherboard in here, I don't have to worry about fiddling about with motherboard standoffs, and I can just put it in there and I'm good to go. So likewise with the graphics card, once I have it installed, all I gotta do is run the cables up through here, and then I can just run them up. And then I can have my front panel connectors for the audio come up through here. Now this one doesn't have a grommet, so there's that. Then you've got the nice big motherboard cutout, so that way you can put your CPU cooler on there if you're planning on doing a water cool type thing. One thing I did ask about with this particular case is, will this fit a 280 millimeter radiator up top? It limits clearance if you do. So there is a RAM clearance issue. If you have low profile RAM, I don't imagine it being a problem, but if you have tall RAM, you're probably limited to a 240. If you have a 240 because offset towards the front, then that'll be fine. So take that with a little bit of caution there. So if you have a really big radiator, you're probably going to end up putting it up at the front. So plan accordingly. So like I said, with this being an air-cooled system, that's not going to be a concern. So that's fine. I can populate, if I want, I could put 3 fans up at the top and it won't cause any issues because there's no radiator. So, and that's how I plan on running it. I do plan on running it with the solid top off. I'm going to be running it with the mesh top on. So that way I'll be able to have lots of good airflow going up the top. I'll have good air coming in the front, and it'll be a really good air-cooled system. So that's why I've been waiting for this. I've been eager for this. And here's the really interesting part. This is something I found that was kind of cool. Now, if you watch Jay's 2 Cents, you already know what I'm about to do here. That fits on the back. it fits perfectly on the back. So it's kind of cool. So if you're planning a showcase system and you're only planning on having 2 hard drives, and you're going to put the panel, you know, that hard drive panel, if you're going to put it to the back, mount your hard drives here, mount your SSDs here, do some really nice cable management. Why wouldn't you want to put another tempered glass side panel on the other side? It's kind of interesting that this will fit like this, but they don't offer additional side panels separately. Now, I looked on their support page, and it says if there's enough want for it, then it may be possible. I haven't seen it yet. So it's kind of interesting that it works. But my only worry is that if I wanted to do 2 tempered glass side panels and have enough hard drive sleds to fill the whole thing, you know, if I wanted to get really crazy and nuts with it, I'd have to buy 2 cases in order to do that. But it's not something I'm going to do. But I just thought I'd show this because it's just kind of an interesting little thing. So then when you put it back together, all you do, I like the fact that it's sound dampened. So you just take this, and it just pops on. I mean, yeah, that's just easiest thing in the world. Holy cow. So if you're going to be doing a lot of fooling about in your system, yeah, you can do that. And likewise, you just take your front panel. And it's got a nice perimeter around, so you're not going to worry about, you know, getting fingerprints all over it. And it just pops on. So yeah, I think for 150 bucks, even right now, this is a really good idea. So like I say, if you're planning on, like, you could probably do a 240 or a 360 and have it, well, let's look at the top here. So if you're planning on a 240 or a 360, what I'm guessing you would do is you would move this closer to the front, and that way you could go all the way across. And what's kind of cool is that, and other tech tubers have already covered this point ad infinitum. If you're doing custom water cooling, you got a fill port right there. Now, I'm not planning on doing a custom water cooling, so it doesn't make any difference to me, but I like the fact that the cooler bracket, or the cooler mounting, is pushed forward. So it's not centered. This is the front of the case, or this is the side that you normally show off. These are set closer to the front. So that way it's not centered, so you don't have to really worry about it a whole lot. So would I recommend this case? Absolutely. What I'm planning on doing with this is I'm not going to be doing really an RGB type build. So it's going to be mainly black and white with a bit of chrome. Because I'm going to be using Dominator Platinum RAM, which has got the chrome heat spreaders on it. So that's what's going to be used for this system. So that's why I went with the white. So I love the fact that it's not glossy. I love the fact that it's easy to open. I like the fact that you have options for it. So is it worth it? Well, if you've been watching on YouTube about any other tech tubers review of this case, everybody across the board pretty much says, yeah, go for it, absolutely. And after seeing it in person and being able to, you know, go around it and look at it and see what's all inside of it, yeah, I totally agree. This is so worth the wait. And yeah, I give them huge props for that. So check out their website. You can find it on Newegg. I have not had any luck finding it on Amazon, although maybe it'll pop up sometime. You never know. It's kind of like that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. So there you go. So what do you think of this case after all this time? I know it's been around for a while now. It came out earlier this year, so I'm late getting on this. But I think it's worth it. Even now, even with all the new stuff coming out, it's still a good, it's what I call the elegant case. It has class, but it's not pretentious. It doesn't throw itself in your face and say, look! You know, it looks really nice, clean, and it does it well. That's what Fractal does. So you bought this case? Have you bought the black version? Have you bought this version? What do you think of it? By all means, put your comments down below. I'd like to hear what your stories are about this particular case. What have you done with it? Definitely let me know. I'd love to hear all about it, because I'm looking forward to getting the build going on this. I'm just waiting for 1 or 2 more things to come in order to get this going, and then you'll see the full build video on this, along with some nice sexy B-roll shots. So yeah, stay tuned for that. I'm going to get on out here. That's it for my overview of the Define R6 by Fractal Design. So yay. All right, so as always, I'm going to get on out here, so be sure to live your life a little randomly each day, and we'll catch you guys next time. Take care.